Hey everybody, welcome back. So here's a demonstration of the brand new Omegavus quantum. Well, we'll put a quantum signal, but it's actually a quantum forecast dashboard. And in combination with the smart money, right? So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to look for an opportunity. Right now, the market just broke below the SML, below the previous day close. So I'm looking for a short position, but clearly you can see on the top side, M123.5 is just overtaking to the short side. So this is an opportunity to go short. So double click here. The time right now is 12. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to put 12. Click OK. That's below of it. We're going to go short right now. Boom. That's all. Now the cool thing is I'm going to turn this off. We don't need this. We're using the dynamic size of the NTC. Notice that the NTC is really wide, right? It's outside of the normal, the white range, and it's because this NTC is dynamic based on volatility. It's indicating that the volatility is quite high. So there are two ways we can go around this. The size is about 41 points, right? If it's 41 point, we can just aim for 41 point, meaning I can go and try to go and aim for this target right here. Okay, and place whatever, right? The amount of context that I want to go out in that range, right? And then I always like to go for the fourth one. So this will be my trade. Now the placement of the stop is going to be on the other side, right on the other side of the NTC. Now there's the cool thing. Notice that the NTC on the other side is almost on the top of the first SML. So I'm going to use that as a potential setup, right? And the first target would be this one. So we can definitely go and add that one up in there just in case if we want to. That's up to us. But this would be kind of the first target, second target, and third, and we'll be completely done in the way of that we approach a trading here. But I just want you to take a closer look here. OT is negative on M1, 2, minus 95, not in the threshold that I'm looking for. Again, I'm not using OT today. I have it on the side because I want to make sure that I understand the correlation of the market completely, right? I need to understand where the VIX is. I need to understand the QQQ, ES, and all that stuff. That absolutely doesn't substitute the OT. We just had it here because I had an idea. What if we only focus on one tool set and be very specific on trading one tool set in one time frame without having to go in back and forth on time frames? Does that make sense? So right now I just showed you how this is just going to work out. Now check this out. So still the risk reward ratio doesn't make sense, right? So I can still enable quantum flow, obviously. Why? Because quantum flow, I want to see it. This is the last quantum flow. So the stop is going to be on the high on the previous bar. That's too much. I'm keeping the first. Okay, first target was hit. Beautiful. Now the width of this NTC is way too big, right? Check the other reason we did it as dynamic as it is right now 1016. So I'm going to double click here. I'm not changing my targets. I will not change my target. Let me repeat that. I am not changing my targets. I'm changing the time here because I want to know from 12 to 16 that I have now a new NTC. Now I can use this new NTC to trail my stop. Get it? Until the very next target is back on. Does that make sense? So I can put this back now to 12, which is the original one, and carry on with, guess what? My targets. So this is what I've been doing. The other thing that you can do is kind of add up another, let me see if I can, let me turn this one off. And let me see if I can find the other one. I took it off. Never mind. So you can create kind of another version of the NTC. Let me just use this one, for example. And then what I'll do is I put 1018 and you'll understand what I'm saying. But in this one, though, I am going to turn off all the levels. I just want the NTC. So I'm going to turn off the levels here. Okay, everything's set and done. Boom. Now I'm going to enable this one, and you see it's just creating a new NTC for me, right? Now remember, this is not the dynamic. This is the static one that we're substituting with the dynamic one. Here I would have been stopped out. Okay, so that's the reason I'm just going back and forth and testing this stuff, because I know you're probably gonna say, let me double up and so on and so forth and see what's going on in terms of keep doing it, keep moving out the NTC. You're probably gonna keep getting stopped out and being right on trend. The other reason I'm not using this style or technique, I'm sticking with the quantum flow, and I'm sticking probably, again, let me delete this. Let me delete that. I'm sticking with this one because I'd rather use this one right here. Let me go for 20. Actually 18. Let me put 18 here. So this is the NTC on the 18, and maybe I can tie it up in here. Why am I using this one? And it might be better than this one. You see the one inside? That's a static one. The new one, it self-adjusts based on the volatility of the market, giving us the bigger chance of understanding that it actually break through above it and close is going to be possibly a reversal. It's insane. So I just decided to join in this trade, 1020, out of the blue, completely random, and I'm utilizing the tool sets and techniques at this point to help me guide myself into what I'm looking for. So I noticed that the very next target is above the bottom of the NTC. I have high probabilities of this target being hit. Look at the quantum forecast dashboard. OT completely negative over 200%. I don't need to look at the OT for this specific time frame because I'm focusing on this time frame. But if I want to see even reality, this is going to be massively moving forward, breaking this brand new low and so on and so forth. We need to bring that OT completely and understand today there's going to be news, and there's two high impact, there's two FOMC reports coming at 245 and 135. That's probably going to bring a little bit of uncertainty. Right now, QQQ is positive. That's going to give me kind of another second thought, right? ES is just completely negative. That's okay, but SPY is positive. I see that the Gen is absolutely bullish, so that's great. That's the reason it should push down. That's another correlation tool that I haven't shared with you. I'm going to bring in Steve to explain to you guys how to do this. But the VIX is massively bullish alongside the Japanese Yen. These two guys are rocketing to the upside. They have to push down the indices altogether. It's just that the QQQ and the SPY, they're not following through yet. That's the reason all this support, this is kind of an imbalance here. If you start adding up all this crap, right, this is an imbalance where buyers are going to step in right in there and so on and so forth. This is just going to be normal situation. So anyways, we just got stopped out, no problem on that one. So we were trading it accordingly. But if we were using the quantum flow, the stop would be over here. I'm going to start the trading it again. It is 1022, double click. So now I'm going to go to 1022. And this is the new range. You notice that the range is still wide apart. Make sense? So I'm going to wait until they break below the low. And it just kind of makes sense now. Before, if I use this one and I go 1022, sorry, and I enable this one, let me delete this. Look at the range, it's close, right? It's close by, right? It kind of also, I love it, it makes sense. Most of the of the dashboard is quite negative. You know that the MSV is just turning bias. That's an issue, that's an error that this thing has. I need to fix that. Unfortunately, there's Nothing's perfect, so we need to fix that. But on the 2 minute, we have a QF negative and we have OD negative. So this is long-term perspective negative. I'm just glancing. OT is just losing ground, still negative, but not on the percentages that we're looking for, right? So I can certainly do one or two things. At this point, we can just deploy the good old-fashioned triangle concept. Could be something like that. Kind of weird, but it could be, right? Again, I'm trying not to push myself into going back and doing my really advanced analysis stuff. I don't want to. I just want to keep with the basic of what we teach inside the accelerator, price structure, and all this stuff. We're below the previous day close. That's a negative outlook. This is a pulling bar technique. It did break below. They did. So I'm going to use the pulling bar technique. Entry here. I'm going to go short, place my stop on the other side here. Might work, might not work, but I'm looking at the quantum forecast signal bias here, and it's mostly 80-90% negative. So this guy should be moving forward. Now I have a brand new target, right, with two contracts. So I'm going to do the first target here, and I'm going to swing for this one. Boom. Because I'm starting anew, right? I'm starting a brand new SML. So I'm going to turn this one off. And this is the new range. And as we speak, the opening, the NTC range, it's still above 40% or 40 points, right? Which indicates that in order for me to make this more clear, I have to break this down in two and aim for this target, right? In here. That way, the risk-reward ratio makes sense, right, of the size of the NTC if you're waiting for the breakage of that area. Now we also add the infamous, if they break through, 40% is going to be down here. It's close to that target sweet, and this major swing is close, 60s major swing close to the other target. I'm going to keep it there, right? Does that make sense? So this is where I'm going at. So all we have to do is just sit back and wait for this to happen. I know where the stop is going to be. I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm using NTC as to place my stop and or the quantum flow. Since the quantum flow stop would be way over here, that's too overkill for me. I'm not interested in that one. Here's the quantum flow. The previous one is there. Now this one is lower than the NTC. Boom. Now I start adjusting it accordingly. Is this making sense to you guys? So from here on, since, listen to me, since the quantum flow is the one leading the trailing stop in a better sense, I'm going to stick, I'm still on 2 minutes, I'm going to stick with the trailing stop of the quantum flow and let it be so I can keep my targets as it is. If you're happy with your targetings and whatnot, what you can do is just label your targets visually on the chart, just so you remember where they are. Let me see. So we got those three targets, and you can say, you know, I want to deploy the next NTC. So this is going to be 26. This is the new NTC, and you can tidy it up. Now you can use the NTC for trailing stop, and you're still aiming to produce a tighter range in your trail stop. Now, granted, I'm still debating and the effectiveness of dynamically changing this brand new volatility NTC as a trailing stop. Bear in mind, that's what I'm explaining. But we can do it. I mean, you can certainly do it, no problem, and have at it because it's just a closer range, right? And just keep focusing on it. Notice that the width of the NTC is also almost aligned with the first target of each one. And it's pretty close to the one that we had, remember? So it's pretty close to the original one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tighten it up and move it in there. Make sense? So right now, so it's debating, right? You're going to use the NTC for trailing stop. You're going to use quantum flow. In this case, I'm saving myself about 7 points on 3 contracts. That's pretty hefty. It's quite a lot. So I'm going to keep it as it is. I just adjusted the first target though. For this one right there, the one provided, look at this one is almost identical to the one that we had originally. This one got further out, but I'm going to keep the original one. So this one right here is just being adjusted, meaning I have a high probability of that one being hit. So I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm not going to touch it. Look at the quantum signal bias. It's all red, 90% red. I'm not thinking very specific. All I'm seeing is I have signals in it, and it's just helping me dictate better decisions to get into the trade by utilizing more ease structure of entries. I can use a pullback, pulling bar technique entry as I did in this case. I can just wait for the break of the NTC for me to take the trade going in that way. I can use the break of the triangle close and take that trade. I can use other techniques, right? Back to the imbalances and take that break, which is similar to the pulling bar technique as a matter of fact, and so on and so forth. You can use multiple iterations of techniques for entry as long as you follow suit the overall tendency of the market, right? So this is something that I wanted to show you. I mean, again, it's been profitable. Let's just not kid ourselves here. I'm just trying to show you how this works, but this baby provided 24 points. Long enough, more than enough of the 10, 15 points that we're looking for and being done, right? I'm just trying to stick with the analysis and the forecasting that they provide to see if indeed they bring some clarity. I'm looking at the OT, VIX is positive, Japanese yen is positive, great. Now the SPY is getting negative, ES is getting negative, QQQ is getting negative, and NQ is getting negative. So rest assured, I am really hoping that in this instance, these guys are going to sustain and stay the way that they are, okay? So what I'm going to do is just going to keep it as it is. I can play two games here. I can use the quantum flow, previous stop, the way that it is again, and or you can use the top of the NTC and place it a couple points above it just in case. That way you are very well protected accordingly. Remember, this NTC that we're using is a dynamic that self-adjusts based on the volatility of the market on every single bar. Let's do it again, right? I'm not changing the targets, right? But right now the market just pulled back up, creating a brand new pullback bar right there. It is 10:30. We can double click, check how it's going to change. Look at the NTC, and we're going to put N30, boom, and that's a new stop right there, boom. Now notice that now the stop become higher, right? And you say, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, because we changed it to this brand new one. That's the reason I'm saying you got to pick either or and stick with it. Once you stick with it, just stay with it. Does that make sense? This is just for you to then look for an entry, an opportunity to go in or enter the market, right? So it's you will confuse yourself. You keep changing and changing. Once you pick one starting point of your NTC and you stick with it, stick with it. Do not change it. Don't play that game, because then you're gonna get multiple different targeting, multiple different size of the NTC. Like right now, I use this one as a stop, and now it's bigger, so I move it there. That's the reason I like to keep the quantum flow, so that I just stick with the one that I like, which that one. In this case, these two matches, making it more logical for me to say, you know what, based on this new calculation, the stop at this NTC, which is dynamic based on volatility, and the quantum flow makes a lot of sense. I'm going to stick with that until the first target is hit. And notice the first target now on this one's is right at the bottom where it's about to hit. Does that make sense? So you need to adjust yourself accordingly. Boom. If I'm changing that target, that stop, I'm going to be more aggressive also on my exit based on the analysis done for me. So it has the probabilities on my side. Right? The other ones I'm going to keep as they were. I'm not changing them. But in this instance right now, look what I have done by keep changing things. I just narrowed my potential profit, slash it by 875. If I'm okay with that, that's okay. Well, doesn't make much sense, right? Based on risk reward ratio, maybe it does. I have no idea. Maybe it does. Let me see. From this entry point, my stop is 21 point, and my target is 24 points. So I'm okay. So the risk reward ratio, and I'm using exactly what the tools are providing for me, right? Which is freaking insane. And look, I haven't done anything else, just one single trade. I'm just very dynamically now analyzing where to place my stop, managing the trade. I placed one trade using pulling bar technique because everything on the quantum bias was negative. I'm trusting that we're going south. Boom, and I took the trade. And I'm sticking with the 2-minute chart at this point, nothing else. I'm just letting the market do its thing. I knew that I can trust this trade. So far, I'm trusting it because VIX is massively bullish. I just added on the side Japanese yen into it. And the reason I just added Japanese yen is because it's strongly advisable. And I'm going to bring it in here. I have no idea if I can show it, but I'm going to bring it on the side here. Hopefully you can see it. I don't know if the recording is allowing me to do this. But anyway, this is what I have right now. VIX, Japanese yen, massively bullish. And I know that if these two are in one direction, eventually the indices will push through on the other side of the equation. Okay, this is the overall. This is me doing correlation analysis on the OT, which I required and I need without being blind into the decision making. Overall, momentum, trend bias dashboard, right? The quantum forecast dashboard is 90, almost 100% negative. Just give them time. We just broke below the previous day swing low. It's about time for them to carry on and continue further south. Okay, so just give them a little bit of time. I adjusted my first targeting based on the new first target that happens to be, just got a negative short position validation trend on NQ. Let's see if they carry on and move forward with it. And I need to target the bottom side here. They're just having a lot of issues and having a lot of time, taking their time to do so. Let's see, we hit, there you go, that's the first target, but this was the original one. Let's see if we hit it, right? No quantum flow in sight, but look what we're going to do. Oh, there was one quantum flow showing right in there, which indicates this is going to be the next stop right there. Okay, so all sweet, done. I'm loving this. Everything negative going on the south, beautiful. Look at the quantum forecast dashboard. Next target is going to be this one right there, but the original was down here, so let's just focus on it. Look at the VIX, look at the Japanese yen, massively in one direction. I'm just introducing the Japanese yen, so these are the secrets of the OT, guys. So anyway, so let's just do this. Keep it on the side. Next target is going to be that 782. We're about to hit it. And I'm aiming for the original targeting. I did not change that one because that was my main interest. Look at the M1 here. Bias short position being triggered, indicating you can go short at this point on the M1. This is something that we're testing. The bias is when everything is lined up at the specific moment, the market should move in that time frame. So in M1, we just got a short position indicating that the market is definitely going to move south, right? This is pretty sweet. Let's see if okay, a target is being hit. Let's see if the other one, which was the original, will hit it. And this is the swing one that we're looking for. No other quantum flow. I thought there was one. This one is going to be created for us. Let me focus here. It's going to be here. This is going to be the next quantum flow there, right? Because this is going to be quantum flow. Target will be hit in a moment. Let's see if we can just nail it. And you know what we can do? Let's double click. Boom. What time is it? It's exactly 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. New. Look at that. This is a new range. The target was already hit underneath. Let's see if that was a hit, no miss. There it hit them. Oh, there you go. That's a target being hit. Beautiful. This is the last quantum flow. So the stop is going to be right there. Isn't this awesome? So this is the new bar forming right now. Guess what we're going to do? Is 1038. I have no idea if we can just, there you go. That's a new one. Boom. I'm going to move my stop all the way there. You see what I did? Let me cancel it. Guys, we're talking about, we're getting close, so close on the next target, but I want to protect, right? We're talking 20 points right there. Boom. And I'm going to allow this thing to do whatever they have to do, right? Now, if there is a quantum flow that appears lower than this, it might, then I can just go ahead for it, but I do not want to change my time frame. Okay, so here we go. Isn't this awesome? So if you got any questions, just post it below wherever this video is hosted. Send it in a ticket support on the Skype group, which is a private, more of a one-on-one support that some of you have access. If you're part of the accelerator, you have kind of direct access to on the Skype group. If you're in the Discord daily approach group as well, just put your comments in there. We're making it available for you, easy for you to reach out to us for your questions, right? But anyways, this is just brand new. We're about to release this Omegavus forecast, quantum bias, whatever the name we're going to end up putting. It's going to be quantum forecast, because that's exactly what each one of these tools provide, is a forecasting of the trend. It's not a signal to buy or sell, just as it is. Each one of those members of that comprises the tool, it's a forecasting tool. It is a leading indicator tool, not a lagging indicator like moving averages, stochastic, and all that crap. All right, so that's the reason it's just been so incredibly good. Okay, so anyway, enough of that. So the worst case scenario now, I have peace of mind. My worst case scenario right now is $510 if I get stopped out, or $1,695 on this last position. Look at the bias forecast dashboard here, 90% negative. M10 is the only one missing a dynamic on the way down. It's just a matter of being patient, okay? So this is something that we were dreaming about having, right? And we're just so excited about. And we've been testing, redefining, iterating, coming up with concepts just to make sure that we can have one single tool set in one location, that it could help you tremendously become a freaking badass forecaster, right? That's all we're focusing on. Of course, you can do all this manually and do massive analysis, very laser accurate analysis with the Synergy Zone. If you're not part of the Synergy Zone, just shoot us a message. We'll let you know. And that's a coaching program. It's a one-on-one coaching program, 6 weeks with me, and I'll teach you and guarantee you to predict the market. You don't need any of these tools, but these tools iterate, right, and come from those specific knowledge base, right? And you will not believe how accurate you will become, because it's adaptable and applicable on any market conditions. Anyways, all right, so we're about to break free. We're going to carry on and continue based on this NTC. This is the target based on this NTC, the first target, and my swing from the original is above it. We will hit that one. Quantum signal bias dashboard is completely negative with the exceptions of M10, which is okay, but I'm focusing on the from 1 to 5. 15 is negative, so I know for a fact I'm going to hit that one. We can just take this one and trail it all the way to the swing down, but that's not the point, right? I can do so. I can probably do this. I can probably adjust this one a little bit and take a couple of extra points. That was about $100, almost $200 more. But if I do that, then I want to tighten up my trail stop, right? Let's see. Everything seems okay. What I can do is just double click. The time at this bar is 42. That's 42. I'm gonna tie it up my target, my stop loss right in there, and let it be. Now instead of 500, 730. Let's see if we can get those targets done. Right? None of these two targets has been hit. Look at the OT, completely negative, 400%, QF negative, all across the board on multiple time frames. OD, the same thing. Now I can go further with this. We open the settings, and you can just enable 30 minutes and 1 hour, and they will plot in a moment here on the right side for us. There you go. They're plotting right in there. But we don't trade 1 hour, right? So I turn that off. I can probably stick with the 30-minute if I want to. And you can just pick and choose whatever you want in here. I find it to be a little bit overkill. But I'm going to keep it there so you can understand. And these are the settings independently for the new tool sets individually that powers the bias signal for us. All right, so we got a quantum flow there. Let's see which one's better. Look at that. So this is a signal. The quantum is a little bit tighter. So let's use that one. And it's pretty similar to the top of the NTC, so no problem, meaning that I know I'm going to get my target hit. So the target is a little bit higher than this one, right? So let's just measure if it's worth doing what we're doing. 3 points. I mean, 3 points. $60. $60 pays for the gas tank, I guess. So let's just keep it there, right? And be content with it. The other thing that we can do, since this is going to be my exit, I'm not playing the game here anymore. So this is a brand new one. Guess what? What we can do is adjust to the new timing. It's 45, so let's just put 44. Let's see what the change, if any. There is a new change, of course, and this is a brand new. Now I'm locking 1,000. I'm still using NTC to give me the vibe, right? Give me the specific, right? Because we're missing this target right there for a few. And I don't feel like waiting for it to pull back up. Mostly everything is negative. So we just need to give it a little bit of a nudge and trust. Look at the target right now. The bottom is above the actual first target of this NTC. If they come up, let me just pull it up a little bit above it. They have enough space. Let's see if the range stays the same or it has changed. It widened, so it's bigger. It's a bigger range now, 44. So let's just give it enough space and time to do its thing. Mostly it's negative. Let's see if we get stopped out. Quantum flow would be way over here, right? Kind of a break-even point still for swing trading, right? So that's the reason I like to become more dynamic with this brand new NTC. Let's give it enough time. So let's wait until we get stopped out any moment now. Almost there. Just hit the top of the NTC. And we'll see. And there you go. We're out. We're done. So that's how it's done, right? So walk over a couple of, maybe $1 grand or something in there. And this is kind of, in a nutshell, how I take the trades with using the brand new Omegavus Quantum Forecast Bias Tool dashboard. So can't wait to have the fixes on the bias and the MSV signal. Do you notice that they come in but they disappear? They need to be fixed. So we're working on that. And I just wanted to give you a demonstration of the power of it. So I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.